Lighter gear allows us to do more miles in a day, do more hours in a day, and just in general tackle harder terrain, harder projects, and longer hikes. And this, of course, comes with more risk to doing injury to your feet, especially dermal injuries like blisters. Blisters form when shear forces cause separation of the dermal layers. Traditionally, when using hiking boots, which are stiff and inflexible, that causes your flexible foot to shear inside that hiking boot, and those shear forces are what cause blisters in stiff footwear. So if we look at 5 ways to minimize the formation of blisters, one of them is by transitioning to more flexible minimalist footwear. The second strategy I look at is just reducing pack weight. The less weight you have in your pack, the less force that applies to your feet when you're walking, and that decreases the shear forces as well. The other thing I look for in footwear is something that has a wider toe box that allows your toes to splay out. And that toe splay helps distribute forces more evenly and prevents the rubbing of the outsides of your toes into the inside surface of your footwear. So after reducing your pack weight, going to more flexible footwear, and going to footwear that has a wider toe box, the other 2 strategies I employ are using a foot lubricant so that you can decrease the shear in your foot to shoe interface. And then the final thing is by looking at toe socks. Toe socks do a couple things. First, they provide fabric isolation for each of the toes, and that prevents the skin of the toes from rubbing against each other. And this is really important, especially when you're on rough terrain or you're doing long miles, because that rough terrain or just the repetitive motion of every step causes so much friction between the toes. And so toe socks resolve that. The other thing toe socks do is that fabric aids in moisture regulation. So if you look at the blister formation trifecta, it's heat, moisture, and friction. And so having fabric between your toes helps manage that moisture so that your skin doesn't get super hydrated, the dermal layers start separating, and then you get the friction that causes blisters between the toes. Now, Injinji makes a variety of toe socks for different use cases. I really like the merino wool liner socks, and I'll wear those underneath a conventional wool sock, especially this time of year where the temperatures are a little bit cooler and I want some additional insulation. So to summarize, the 5 strategies I use to minimize blisters are: carry less weight in a lighter pack, use flexible footwear, use footwear that has a wider toe box, use lubricants on your feet, and use toe socks.